Hey guys, Zero here again. I wanted to do a more in-depth review of my Saberforge Avenger lightsaber. I did a video prior to this where we showcased a bunch of our lightsabers, my buddy Rob and I showed this one in there. But as I said, I wanted to do a kind of closer, more in-depth review of my thought process since I've had it for a while now on start to finish with this thing. So this was the Saberforge Avenger. Anybody who's savvy enough to know, and you can see this is the saber that Obi-Wan Kenobi had in episode 1 and 2. Sorry, episode 1, and then 2 he got the different one. So I picked this up off of Etsy, the Etsy page, and I got it with no sound, just the saber, just the hilt with the 12-watt LED that it comes with. We had a buddy who was into sabersmithing. His name's Larry Randall. He's a really good guy. Shouts out, Larry. Great job. He had told us, hey, if you're going to get a saber, originally he was like, just pick up the hilt and we can install all the stuff for you. But like I said, my buddy and I, we wanted to get at least light. So we wound up picking up the saber with light, which we might as well have not done, because a couple months in, we were already like, all right, I took it to Larry, let's talk to Larry, let's get it going and see what it's going to cost to get these things up and going, full on. So the saber comes with these two buttons here, and they're not really buttons, they're actually just, this is actually the blade lengthener and the emitter, and then the activation switch on the on the design of the saber. But that's changed obviously for this. So here's the activation switch. This knob here is what we call a kill key. It's actually designed to go into the charging port where the Li-ion battery is stored and charge up the saber, and also you can use it to connect it to your PC via cable. And my buddy Larry hooked me up with a really cool Rebel symbol blade plug. Originally, when I ordered the saber, I ordered it weathered from Saberforge, and it came with very little paint. There was some weathering here and a little bit up here on the choke, but very, very little weathering. I mean, it cost extra money to have it weathered, but there was so very little weathering. Now I know the standard Avenger is really bright and polished and whatnot, but there was no paint, very, very little marking. And the paint that was on there, as soon as you put your hands on it, it would come right off. So basically I had like a brushed aluminum saber hilt after using it, for a little while. So I was a little disappointed with that, which kind of sucks. You pay for that and it's like half-assed. And my buddy Rob got one with weathering as well, but his weathering is still good. It looks really good. I actually picked up a blade plug to match the weathered look. Now, the finish that's on here now, my buddy Larry did for me, because as he saw with when we got the saber, he was just as disappointed as I was with the finish. So he hooked me up with a little bit of powder coating, some brushing, and a little bit of clear coat. And there's a speaker in there. When I got the saber, I had to take a file to a lot of the parts here. The pommel was extremely sharp. There were a lot of burrs and things like that on the pommel. I remember the first time I actually went to handle the saber, I tore up my glove just on the pommel. So, like I said, I went to work with it, took a file to it, got it nice and smooth. And like I said, we got it out to my buddy Larry, and he hooked me up, man. He actually replaced the LEDs in there with a Tricree XPE2 Nova Copper Nova LED system, which is extremely bright. It's pretty much 12 watt, but it's just a lot brighter. I don't know why, but I know we went to Celebration. Star Wars Celebration in 2016 or 2017, and even in the bright light of the convention center, our sabers were so bright compared to most of the other sabers there. And there were other Saberforge, Ultra Sabers. There was a ton of different sabers there, custom, but our LEDs were so bright, like we washed out other sabers in most of the pictures we took, which was really cool. And people were just like, "Where did you get that? How did you, whatever?" And like I said, my buddy Larry, like I said, he put a Li-ion battery in there. I've got a NEC Spark 2 soundboard in here, and we've got a Goth 3D chassis, custom 3D chassis in here. It's actually in purple to match the blade color, because I wanted this to be, I wanted the blade to be purple. So it's got the two, the blue, the red, and the other color. We've got a Railmaster, a modified Railmaster 28mm bass speaker, which sound quality is phenomenal and extremely loud. It's really, really loud. Again, it just washed out a lot of the other sabers. So I'm gonna pull the kill key. Now my battery's really weak. It's almost dead, so bear with me.
May the force be with you.
So you see, it's pretty loud. Let me just hit that. You hear it's like,
This weapon is your life.
you can change the fonts by
This weapon is your life.
twisting the saber. Let's see, it's doing it. It's not doing it.
This weapon is your life.
That's it. Yeah, when the battery's low, it won't work so well. It takes a little bit of vibration to actually change the font.
This weapon is your life.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We've got like some screws here. And just twist a little bit.
This weapon is your life.
Yeah, I know. Blade plug comes right out. This is a simple polycarb tube with a little metal button on top. Fits in there real snug. You don't have to tighten them, but I do, just for the sake of, when we saber duel with these, which we have, I don't want any, it'll hold it in there, but I just don't want it to slip out when I'm spinning it around or flourishing it or whatever.
This weapon is translucent. This part is
there it goes.
This weapon is your translucent.
This party's over.
He gave me that custom.
This party's over.
When you have those, it'll actually change the boot up sound too. I've got flash on clash. We've got lock up. It's got a lot of features. And boot up. So that's pretty it's pretty standard now with most sabers, you know, custom sabers, to have all these different sounds and different fonts. And I can actually change the fonts, the sound fonts. You know, I just connect it to the PC.
This party's over.
Yeah, we know. Let's go ahead and shut that off. If you put the kill key in, disconnects the battery immediately, so the sabers automatically shut off. And when you pull the kill key, let's see.
May the force be with you.
It actually resets. So you'll have to go through your fonts, you know, just switch it again. It's just the nature of this board, especially when the battery's low. Like it just, I don't know. Nothing terrible. It's just one of those things. You got the belt clip here. And here's your clip. Just goes right on. If I can do that. There he goes. And it hangs pretty good off your belt. You know, it doesn't come off. You know, I wore this at the convention center all day, and it was fine. Honestly, pulled it off a lot. We walked around with it with the saber blades in it for a little bit, or whenever I took a picture, I put the saber blade in. But for the most part, I just kept it on my belt. I've walked around with it at work. You know, I had it at my job. They didn't really care for it, but we had it, and it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm happy with my purchase. Given what I know now, though, and what these things are capable of, I definitely would not have bought lights, because I wasted the money on the lights, you know, because I wound up upgrading those anyway. And I probably would have used that money, not that it was that much, but I would have used that little bit of money to probably get a different hilt, one more, something, maybe something I wanted a little more. And I was a little torn at the time when I got the saber as to which hilt I should get. It was like the Redeemer, which is Obi-Wan's saber from 3 and 4. And there was a couple other Saberforge hilts I was kind of on the fence about, and I was not sure about Ultra Saber. A buddy of mine had just bought a Vaders Vault hilt, and I was thinking about Vaders Vault, but I was like, man, I didn't like a lot of the designs that they had at the time. I still don't. I mean, they're great. My buddy got one, and I'm very impressed with his saber. I personally do not like the look, like the design of the hilt, but I respect it and I understand why they made it that way. Very smooth, very small, narrow hilt, a lot more narrow than this, which is surprising because it's very tight inside here. The diameter inside this hilt is really narrow, and his is even smaller, and they got all those electronics and stuff in there, which is really impressive. But for, like I said, just for aesthetics, appearance, if you're just going to sit it on a shelf, this just has more character, so I went with one of these. I did purchase sabers after this from Ultra Saber, and I had my buddy Larry go at it again, and he customized them internally, lights, sounds, and I'll do a review, a more intricate review on those as well, which are phenomenal sabers as well. But like I said, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at my Saberforge / custom Avenger lightsaber hilt. And I said this is brushed aluminum, so it's all aluminum construction, with the exception of the chassis and the LEDs and the glass. Obviously, is like plastic. But yep, all in all, great saber, great hilt. Not great for dueling though. I have to say real quick, there's too much to get hung up on when you're dueling. You know, when you're really dueling, when you're really sparring, you don't want a lot of this in your hands. You don't want a lot of that stuff getting in the way. You want to be able to move up and down this saber unhindered. You know, so with these, they're fun, they're good, they're you know, they look like the movie prop, but you have to hold them. You've got to hold them a certain way, you know, in order to not get your hands all messed up and stuff like that. So just something to take note of. You know, if you're buying a saber to show off, these are great. If you're buying a saber to duel with, probably not the best choice. But that's just my opinion. But there you go. That's my Saberforge / custom, Larry custom Avenger. Thanks for watching, guys.